Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Biggie and today I'm reviewing Dune Part 2. Now, before I go into the movie review, please careful for spoilers because I will be going in on all of the details, okay? Now, pre-movie review or pre-movie preparations, right? So I actually went to watch Dune yesterday, which was on the 2nd of March. So based off the hype of some of the big YouTubers such as Jeremy Jahns and Chris Randolph, so I had to do a bit of homework to make sure that I get the most out of watching that specific movie. To be honest with you, Dune Part 1 definitely went over my head. Plus, as somebody who's not like a reader of the book, of the Dune books, I went into Dune with the same level of expectations, right? And at that time, I didn't actually understand how much went over my head until I did the preparation for the specific movie. And oh my God, thank goodness for recap channels on YouTube because they put me down on game. I mean, a simple thing like spice, you know how spice is critical to the Dune world. Yes, that went over my head even though I watched Dune Part 1, right? But I'm so glad I actually watched those recaps because there were so many details that I had missed. But going into this movie, I was prepared and I got so much out of it. Now, for this specific review, I'm just going to be going over my most memorable moments. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Oh my God. I think the major thing that stuck with me out of this movie was the love story between Paul and Chani. Bro, I mean, I'm a sci-fi guy, you know? I'm a movie comics guy. I'm an anime guy. But I'm not gonna lie, the love story and the chemistry between these two people was amazing, okay? And to think of like Dune Part 1, I didn't even see it. I remember when they did like a introduction of Zendaya and of course being a bit weird as part of the desert people, I was like, how is this chemistry gonna come about? But in this specific movie, dude, it was well flushed out. It was amazing. Okay, my boy Paul was aggressive. You know, the eyes he would give this girl, you could see that my boy is really interested in this girl. And originally from Part 1, I would have thought that Paul would have been interested in Chani specifically for political gain. But, you know, my boy genuinely fell in love with this girl. Now, to see them get together for me was so beautiful, bro. Like, it was satisfying, right? But it also now created another source of anxiety for me because I'm like, these two people are in the middle of a war. And at the same time, Paul kept on having those visions. And before they were clear, I actually thought that it was Chani. I thought it was Chani in her place, right? That if he pursues this relationship with her, they're gonna go down a dark path, but it's actually her mother after using the army from the southern part of the planet. But nonetheless, I digress. Oh man, what happened at the end when Paul told Chani that I will love you for as long as I breathe, and to do the opposite and actually choose the emperor's daughter, you know, as a political move because he understood at that time that he might love Chani, but for the greater good, he actually needs to be politically smart, right? And I think this also touches on what the emperor said about Paul's father, right? That he's a man who led with his heart, right? And he was weak because of that. And seeing Paul actually forgo the desires of his heart, you know, to get with the emperor's daughter and forgo Chani, dude, that broke my dog. Like that shit made me sad. I think that is the biggest takeaway for me from this specific movie, right? And to think that I have to wait like arguably 3 years to see Part 3 and see how this love story will conclude as part of the grander scheme, it makes me so sad, man. Please, I might have to go buy the books to see how this concludes, man. Because wow, such a well-written love story. Loved it. Moving on to Paul's character, the growth. Loved it, okay? The Messiah, as they call him. I mean, Paul really stepped up for this specific movie, okay? If I contrasted him, you know, to Dune Part 1, because I personally didn't know Timothy Chalamet. I'm like, who's this little scrawny kid? How am I gonna buy the story? Basically, I didn't buy it, right? But in this specific movie, this dude brought it. You know, I mean, starting with seeing him try to integrate with the Freeman people, actually spending time with them to learn their way, you know, and to rise up in the ranks and become their leader was such an amazing thing. Him seeing the vision of the future, you know, that it will lead to a lot of, you know, death and pain and suffering, and still trying to go against that for the greater good of everybody was quite amazing. But then we realized that, those visions were like that because he didn't have sight to see the future and connect and see all possibilities. Now at the end, he's able to do that and carves out the best route for everybody. Now, I will say I'm a bit worried, okay, because we do know with these, grand stories that somebody as great as Paul can end up becoming the villain of the story. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? But hopefully in this specific scenario, Paul is genuinely choosing the right route for everybody. He's leading the Freeman people to paradise, as he says it. When Paul got on that grandfather worm, chills. I had chills. I damn near stood up in that damn cinema and screamed with joy. Like, that was so amazing, man. Okay, shout out to Paul on that one. Secondly, when he went into the temple of the southern people, and he went to like the center of the prayer room, and he told all of them that I am your leader, I am the Messiah, right? After drinking the water of life. That was amazing. Take charge. And then he told them, I'll take all of you on, right? And everybody stood up and they pulled out their blades. And he went for that one guy, prophesied him, told him about his past, told him about his grandmother, when his grandmother died, what day it was, etc. And that dude, fell down to his knees to worship. Oh, okay, let me not say worship, that's a bit messed up. But to acknowledge who Paul was, and the fact that they wanted him to kill Stilgar, and he told them, go kick rocks. I'm not going to kill this guy. This guy is an asset to the army. Because they are used to their old traditional things, but he now has a deeper perspective. I mean, Stilgar is a resource, dude. Imagine killing somebody just for tradition, somebody like that, just for tradition, where you can have both of them. At the very end again, when they were about to go for the final attack against, the emperor and some of the army from the Harkonnen, and we see my boy Paul go up the dune. And as he comes up at the end, there you can see all of his army, bro. I'm like, amazing. And he raises his hand with his blade and they're about to go in. Chills again down the spine. Amazing. And at the final scene, eventually when he walks into the emperor's spaceship and he walks up the stairs to the Baron, his grandfather, and he takes him out, and he challenges Fade now, the nephew of the Baron. I'm like, what a leader, man. What a leader. I used to do something like that, though. Like, this was such an amazing movie, bro. Masterpiece. But yeah, Paul's character development has been so amazing, man. Oh, bro, the final fight between Paul and Fade, I was so scared, bro. Oh my god, dog. And the final scene where they stabbed him, I thought he was actually gonna die. I'm like, guys, come on, you can't do this to me. This cannot be how this ends. And I think I had knowledge that the part 3 was coming. So I was like, dude, are we gonna get like a whole new character, only to find out that my boy Paul comes through? Because at some point, I was making a connection between that scene and the vision that Paul was saving of everybody's suffering, that the root of peace is the one where he has to sacrifice himself as a leader. I was like, come on. But when he came through victorious, I was so happy. Now, time to step into the dark world of the Harkonnen. What a world. Loved the color scheme, the culture, so unique. Everybody's bald, male, female, and it's such a cruel world. Like, you definitely don't want to be like a subject working in that specific world, bro. I feel like the commoners have it better because they're not exposed to the tantrums of those people in royalty. Think of the character that Batista was playing. He throws a fit, kills you, etc., etc. How many people have we seen die? And the fact that they ate each other like they were carnivores, right? That shit was crazy. It sort of shows you what kind of world that they grew up in. And then Fade himself, what a badass, bro. Think of his demeanor compared to his brother, right? When it comes to like approaching the Baron, right? Fade didn't care. Even going off the one specific fight scene where essentially he fought the prisoners, right? And he confronted his uncle and he told him that I want to drown you right now. You don't trust me. Just that demeanor of him. His brother would never speak to the Baron like that. His brother was terrified of the Baron. Shows you that he was always supposed to be the main one representing the family. And man, I'll be honest with you, the Harkonnen are cowards, man. The fact that they have to drag the prisoners, and also on top of that, while they're fighting, there's like guards assisting them in the fight. Man, that's some pussy shit, I'm not gonna lie. Now let's focus on the concept that Paul is the Messiah, okay? I mean, everybody in the story is telling me that this is a fictional story that the sisters made, but how is it unfolding like this if it's a fictional story? Especially given the fact that the sisters didn't have the ability to see into the future. As far as I understand it, they could only see the past, and Paul is the first one to actually be able to see into the future, right, and connect everything together. How is it that this story is fictional? Secondly, Paul's mother being so aggressive to get her aunts to become like the grandmother, loved it, and her demeanor, also like the character development of Jessica. The character development of Jessica was amazing. From where she was so timid, being pregnant, being a queen, to like now being like the grandmother, plotting to advance the propaganda of her son and ultimately taking over. That was amazing. Loved it. And then speaking about all the prophecy, like I really can't wait to see some of the hard choices Paul is gonna have to make, and actually that prophecy coming true. Can't wait to see that. Now, the action, the world building, the score. Do I need to say more? That rhymed, but hey man, perfect. To think of how this story escalated like the war at the end. I'm like, how is this final scene gonna be so good when you've got like another part 3 movie coming? This literally reminded me of Avatar. This is the quality of movie we are talking about, right? To think this thing was almost 3 hours is crazy to me. Not a damn moment wasted. Literally every moment was required. It was perfect. It was well paced. Loved it, bro. For me, this is definitely movie of the year. Okay, this is movie of the year. And okay, I'm not gonna say I'm a person that watches like all movies, etc. No. Among my core movies, comic movies, sci-fi movies, yes, this might be movie of the year. I know we've got Logan and Wolverine coming up at the middle of the year, but if I think about the quality of story that this, world brings, the quality of story that is Dune, nah, man. Wolverine and Deadpool will need to bring a quality of story such as Logan to be on par with this, because as far as I understand it, Deadpool and Wolverine is just going to be like probably a great comic book movie. So yeah, I loved it. I'll definitely give this a 10 out of 10, bro. But yeah, that's it for my spoiler review. Let me know what you loved about Dune Part 2, what excites you most about Part 3. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm out of here.